I want to thank everyone for being here today. I am so excited to be part of this presentation on reimagining CCCOER. I'm going to share a little bit about our presenters. I'm playing two roles here, so I'm going to introduce Liz to you all. Liz has been a member of the Open Education Global team since 2017. In her role, she oversees and coordinates the activities of the Community College Consortium for Open Educational Resources, fondly known as CCCOER, a U.S.-Canada community college node of OE Global. This includes managing memberships, organizing online events, workshops, and webinars, and actively engaging with the open education community. And I'm going to turn this over to you, Liz.
Well, thanks, Debbie. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Um, so the reason for this presentation is that with the recent change, or it feels recent anyway, change in leadership, we thought it was a good idea to to reintroduce ourselves to the community and not just assume everyone knows who we are. And CCCOER has been around since 2007. We're committed to openness and supporting our members in the broader open education community. And this session will talk a little bit about our evolution, key achievement, future directions. Um, and, in the end, we'll ask, where do we go from here? So, as Debbie said, my name is Liz Yada. I'm the manager of CCCOR Communities, and I work for Open Education Global. And Debbie.
And I am Debbie Baker. I'm the OER coordinator for the Maricopa Community Colleges in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm also an instructional designer for our Maricopa Center for Learning and Innovation in our district office. And I serve on the executive council for CCCOER. And so really excited to have a chance to share this with you.
So Open Education Global, if you're not familiar with it, is a global nonprofit supporting the development and use of open education around the world. We envision a world where everyone, everywhere has access to high quality education and training, and where education is seen as an essential, shared, and collaborative social good. And OE Global's primary goal is as a connector to foster knowledge exchange, connect people, change open policies around the world. And we're a fairly small group, but we seem to do a lot. And there are three main annual programs: our Open Education Week, which most of you are probably familiar, starts next week, the Open Education Awards, and the Open Education Global Conference. And I'll talk about those a little bit in a minute. And just a little bit back to CCCOER. So we're a regional node. So we are funded and supported through OE Global, and we work with community colleges in the US and Canada. And so for the last couple of years, since we had a change in, if you're not aware, recently Una Daly decided to retire, and since then we've had Heather Blicker on as new CCCOER director. And since she started in November 2023, we've been working on strategic planning with input from members, the executive council, making a new program guide. Previously, CCCOER had evolved, our programs evolved kind of organically, and that worked. But we feel like we need to write things down now. We make sure to touch base with our members every quarter with a newsletter. And we're going to start having, listening sessions and make sure we're talking to all our members and know what's going on. Debbie?
So, Open Ed Week. I'm sure if you're here, you've probably heard of Open Education Week, and it is coming up. It is right around the corner. Since 2012, institutions, organizations, and individuals worldwide have celebrated open education for 1 week in March. Open Ed Week is a time to share, discuss, and highlight contributions to open education. Open education students, educators, policymakers, technologists, and enthusiasts are all invited to participate. Anyone can host events and share resources for Open Ed Week 2025. And while the focus is on 1 week, the events before and after are encouraged through the end of March. And I will tell you that the Arizona Regional OER Conference, now the OER Arizona Conference, has always been planned for the end of February as a springboard to Open Education Week. So really excited for the things that are offered coming up through Open Education Week. And obviously at CCCOER, every week is Open Education Week. This year, we started in February with Resilience and Open Education, supporting Ukrainian librarians during wartime. The director of the Scientific Library with the Ukrainian State University of Science and Technologies shared how librarians in Ukraine are using open education as a tool to stay connected with the world and support their communities during the ongoing war. On Tuesday next week, right around the corner as we launch into Open Ed Week, we have Open for Anti-Racism, leveraging open education to support anti-racism in the classroom, 4 years in review. This presentation is really looking forward to this presentation. Then on Thursday, the EDI Community Pulse Check. How are you doing? The CCCOER EDI Committee offers a safe space for the open education community to come together to listen and share our hopes and fears in this uncertain time. Registration is required, but this session will not be recorded and you may remain anonymous. Then on Friday, Doers 3 is Advancing OER for All Through Practical Tools, a brief 30-minute presentation on the work that the Doers 3 organization is doing to update the rubric, formerly known as the Equity Through OER rubric. And then on March 20th, is a casual coffee hour with MIT OpenCourseWare and CCCOER, a spotlight of recent teaching materials from MIT's OpenCourseWare and their work with community colleges. And then on March 25th, Defying Gravity or Flying Monkeys, a librarian panel about the challenges and opportunities of AI in OER. So lots of things happening across the month of March for CCC OER. And if you get a chance, go back and listen to that recording about resilience and the Ukrainian librarians.
Thanks, Debbie. So the Open Education Global Conference. So usually this is an annual event. No one wanted to host it this year, so we're going to do something different. Details to be determined. If you have any ideas, feel free to get in touch. But in 2026, it's going to be co-hosted with MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We're very excited. Open Education Global started with the MIT OpenCourseWare program, so it's kind of a full circle moment. And I saw we had at least one person from MIT here. And so if you're not familiar with it, this brings together educators, policymakers, and innovators to explore open solutions to enhance access, participation, and success in education. There's keynotes, presentations, there's action labs, networking, and things you expect from an open ed conference. And it's a 3-day event, and it'll be in person to be determined if there'll be what the online participation will be. We'll see. We know everyone asks about that, but we haven't nailed that down yet. Yeah, so hope to see a lot of you in Massachusetts. I know when it was in Edmonton in 23, it was great to see so many people from CCCOER. Okay. Thanks, Chair, for everyone's invited. Uh, and last but not least, the third program that Open Education Global holds every year is the Open Education Awards. You may see a familiar face on this slide. In last year, Lisa Young was from Maricopa Community Colleges, was awarded the President's Award for her leadership and service for OE Global. She's been an active member of the Community College Consortium of OER since 2013. She's been the Executive Council VP of Professional Development and the co-president of the Executive Council. And in 2021, she was elected to the Board of Directors and became the Vice President in 2023. So we will miss her since she's no longer on our board, but I'm sure I'll be able to see her sometime. Also, another CCCOER member was Kim from Canada. Sorry, I forgot to write it in my notes, so I can't read the slide. But um, we always could use more. You can nominate yourself for an award, and we always want CCCOER members to do well. So don't feel intimidated to nominate yourself when that comes out later this year. Yeah, and there's a few different categories. There's people and open, which is individual awards, what we share, which is basic open assets, OER, how we share focuses on open practices, and then there's special awards that might change a little bit every year. And since it started in 2011, 212 awards have been presented. And yeah, and we just want to highlight the amazing work that everybody does, whether they're amazing individual or amazing project. So hope that you'll nominate yourself or someone you know when that comes around.
So CCCOER is a community of practice, and our members are located in 31 states or provinces across the US and Canada, and include individual institutions, college districts, and regional or statewide organizations. Our members, especially those on our executive council and committees, guide our programming, including our professional development webinars, the EDI Summer Book Club, periodic updates on OER research, and other webinars and blog posts. The Executive Council is made up of representatives from members. They meet monthly throughout the academic year to set direction and plan strategies for CCCOER. And those committees include professional development, research and impact, and equity, diversity, and inclusion. VPs of the main Executive Council are all CCCOER members, but we now allow any member of the open education community to join our committees. We'll be putting out a call in April or May for new members, so be on the lookout for that. And your organization might already be a member. Take a look at our members page to see if your institution, district, or statewide organization is a member. And I'll drop that in the chat for you.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, yes, she's on it. Presenting with Liz is awesome. That way, she's all over the getting this out there. So, moving on to the next slide. So I mentioned that I serve on the Executive Council, and serving in that space has truly been one of the most rewarding leadership experiences of my career to this point. It's a chance to not only contribute to the open education movement, but also to help guide CCCOER's strategic planning, ensuring that we stay focused on expanding access, equity, and student success through OER. One of the most valuable aspects of this role in the community is to connect with colleagues beyond my institution. Working alongside passionate, like-minded professionals from across the country brings fresh perspectives, new ideas, and a strong sense of community. It is inspiring to collaborate with people who are deeply committed to making education more accessible and affordable. And perhaps the most meaningful reward is the reminder of why we do this work. As I certainly don't need one more meeting in my day, but that reminder of why the work is important is invaluable. In the day-to-day challenges of implementation, it's so easy to get caught up in logistics. But being part of this council allows me to step back and see the bigger picture and the real impact that we're making for students and educators. It's a space where we support each other, celebrate wins, and continue pushing for change together.
All right. I always think that everyone knows about this, but then I meet people who don't. So I wanted to make sure to include CCCOER's Community of Practice email group. In the past, it was also called CCCOER Advisory, and the web address is still says that, which so that can be a little confusing. It's over a decade old. It's still going strong. There's so many active, wonderful members on that list who are always willing and able to answer questions and find OER. So if you're not already on there, really encourage you to join and stay connected. Also, a lot of people will share new resources, share events. So it's just a really great resource, and just everyone there is just loves open. And if you ever feel like you need a supportive group, they're definitely supportive. And so I had to do a little bit of research to find out everything about how CCCOA was founded. It was founded in back in 2007. Um, in 2007 to 2011, the big project was helping out with the College Open Textbook Collaborative, which created a network of community college faculty administrators, and they generated a catalog of over 750 open textbooks, and many of those were peer-reviewed. They also gathered up research, and this is back in kind of when OER was like the Wild West, so they were trying to get textbooks for the highest enrollment courses, and it was quite new at the time. After that program ended, that's when CCCOER joined Open Education Global, and the following year, the listserv that I mentioned was created, and the monthly professional development webinars started around that time. And also that year is when Maricopa community colleges, so all the colleges in the district are members, in case any of you were wondering if you remember. Um, so we loved collaborating with Maricopa over the years. Um, And after we got the webinars and the community practice listserv up, we supported a number of grant programs like Achieving the Dream, a couple of big California zero textbook cost degree grant programs, and then we started the Regional Leaders of Open Education Arlo program and the Open for Anti-Racism program. And like I said, in end of 2023 is when we had our leadership change. So thanks, big shout out to Internet Archive for helping me find these old logos. Um, so like I said, it was founded in 2007 at the Foothill De Anza Community College District by then Chancellor Dr. Martha Cantor. If you're not familiar with her, she later was appointed the U.S. Undersecretary of Education by President Obama. And she always said, higher education should be available to the top 100% of students. And as Undersecretary of Education, she championed the adoption and creation of open educational resources in federally funded career training grants. So we owe a lot to her. And yeah, during this period, like I said before, it was the College Open Textbooks Collaborative was a big project for us. So the College Open Textbooks, the second logo there was the logo for that project. So a lot has happened, obviously, since 2011. For some reason, we've had three different logos plus a special 10th anniversary one. Um, and so I actually went and counted, and we've done over 100 professional development webinars. When they started, they were more OER basics, licensing, finding OER. Then as time went on, it started to get more complicated topics like degree pathways, workforce, CTE, And obviously the last couple of years, equity, diversity, inclusion, and anti-racism, artificial intelligence have been a big focus, and we're also trying to have a more global focus so that people in the US and Canada can learn more about all the wonderful work going around the world. We've also had a lot of posts on our website, open ed news and events. If you have an event coming up or you want to post a summary of one, hit us up. We love to showcase those things. We've had an EDI blog series. We've had student stories. We have OER case studies. We have an ongoing list of open education conferences like this one. And also we've had lots of partnerships engaging the community through advocacy and projects. So I mentioned some of the projects we collaborated on before. Another one we did was the U.S. Department of Ed, the California Consortium for Equitable Change in Hispanic Serving Institutions, OER. I didn't come up with that one, but that's another one we did. And also the projects that we ran was the Regional Leaders of Open Education Network. There are two logos there because they had two faces, and the Open for Anti-Racism. So we've been keeping busy. It was nice to look at all those stats. Also wanted to bring up Arizona again. In 2019, when we kicked off the Arlo Phase 1 program, we had a pre-day, pre-conference before the Open Education Conference. We had a day where about 50 OER leaders, statewide, regional leaders got together to talk policy and strategy, stewardship, professionalism, sustainability. And it started off a one-year program. Um, and yeah, Debbie was there. And I think at the same time there was in Arizona, what was it? It had a different name, but the what became OER Arizona, I believe, was going on at the same time. So I didn't get to go to that, but it sounded like a great event. Okay, and so like as I mentioned at the top, we're working on a new strategic plan and we're aligning it with Open Education Global Strategic Plan. We're going to release it very soon if strategic planning is your thing. The three main, yeah, thanks, Debbie. The Open Ed was in Glendale, Arizona that year, so we were at Glendale Community College for that pre-day, pre-workshop. Um, so yeah, the strategic plan. There are three main themes: field building, so bringing open education to individuals and communities who might not otherwise be able to engage in this work. Knowledge exchange and all our presentations, webinars, workshops, that sort of thing. Obviously, the listserv and Open Education Global has a forum called OE Global Connect, and also value co-creation. So partnerships, making connections, project collaborations, that sort of thing. All right. So now that, or I guess Debbie, do you want to take this one?
So yeah, sorry. I was trying to drop the link in the chat. So as you can tell, CCCOER has a strong legacy that we are very proud to carry forward. And with new leadership comes an opportunity to bring fresh perspectives and ideas. Sustainability is a key focus, especially as we grow the program with no new staff added. So creativity drives us to explore new approaches, initiatives, and programs. Inclusivity remains a priority as we continue to grow and strengthen our community. So where do we go from here? We would like to hear from you, whether you are already familiar with CCCOER before this presentation or just learning about it. It's the next slide, Liz. And we have we have a couple of minutes. What do you see as the most important aspects of CCCOER related to your roles, and how can CCCOER benefit you and your institutions? So if you have any ideas or questions or suggestions, please drop them in the chat, or we're a nice small group. Go ahead and unmute and ask.
I don't know if it's not really question or idea, but just being sort of new to this space. I mean, like a year and a half now. I just learned so much just from being on listservs. And I just want to say I appreciate that for people who post stuff. It's not junk. I don't feel like sometimes I don't get to it for a little while, but it's we get so many emails, but the I appreciate that because we are so spread out and there's so much going on. But I have learned so much just by the listservs in this area. So thank you.
I cannot emphasize enough how amazing the community is in those listservs and others, and how willing people are to share. And it's just awesome. Awesome, awesome. Other ideas, other things, other ways that CCCOER could benefit the community.
Shira, do you want to add anything about your upcoming talk later, your casual coffee chat?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's an opportunity for us to get to know you and to also kind of figure out what are the needs of the community. So one of the things that at MIT Courseware we're trying to do is to help fill the gaps if possible, and also create a community. One thing that we know is that sometimes it can feel like people are working in isolation when they're doing OER work. So that's one of our side goals, is to create a community where people don't feel so on their own for that type of labor, and also a way to acknowledge all the labor that goes into making OER and to doing the work that instructional designers and faculty and librarians, like all the good work that people are doing. Oftentimes, I don't know if, yeah, we just want to create a community, understand that your labor is valuable, create a space where you can feel acknowledged for that labor, and also support it with our own resources if and when it's appropriate or available to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and that's on March 20th. I'm not sure to let me repost the link, but if you scroll up, you can sign up for that.
But we are also curious, what are the other challenges that we're not recognizing or aware of? I feel like both MIT OpenCourseWare and CCC OER are there to help identify the challenges, even if we haven't necessarily given voice to it yet. So, what does it mean to be working in isolation? Is that actually a challenge or an issue for you? Or are there other issues or challenges? Does it have to do with funding? Does it have to do with the administration being on your side or not? Like, what actually, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of work that goes into the type of work that we are all collectively doing. And, you know, getting a better sense of what people's experiences are as they do this work, I think is hopefully a bigger conversation we can have.
Yeah, thank you for that, Shira. I just want to say thank you to Latoya for your comment. I hope to see you in one of our events soon. So good. It is good to know that we have reached someone new. I'm not seeing any other comments.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for your time and for being here and your questions. And if you think of something after this event, please feel free to reach out. The contact information for CCCOER is on the screen, and I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat as well for you. Maybe I can do that.
Well, if you want to reach just the two staff members at CCCOER at oeglobal.org, so it's pretty easy to
There
remember.
you go. Thank you.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. And I'll see some of you soon.
You can stop the recording.